where do I sit? What do I do? It's like really, really kind of awkward. Hello, I'm Becky, and hi. So today's video is titled, I went back to the office and now I'm frazzled. And I say I went back to the office. This wasn't like a New Year thing and going over Christmas. I have not worked in an office for quite a while now, and the last time I worked in an office was in 2019. I was running my own company, and so I kind of had control over various things. I didn't know I was autistic then, and I was definitely struggling with some aspects of being in the office, but it hit me hard. I've only had, it kind of was a bit like a slap in the face going into an office. I really had not anticipated quite the challenge. And it's very different going and meeting with people in environments just for like one meeting versus going and being like, oh, I have to like be in this space now for the next 7-8 hours, whatever it is. And so I want to caveat this as well with, like, I know I'm incredibly privileged, number one, to have work, because so much of our community doesn't, and that's a large part of why I'm doing this channel, is because I want to be telling stories about how I make the workplace work, but I also want to highlight like where it's not working for me as well. So it's, again, so we can kind of share stories and make it a better place for people with autism to work. I want to just do a little bit of a rewind. Let's go back to 2020, March 2020 to be exact. And I think we all know what happened in March 2020. We went into lockdown and many people moved out of working in offices. I'd actually already moved out of working in an office at that point, and at various points in my career I hadn't worked in an office, but this was a point where everything shut down. And I know for autistic people there were challenges with COVID, just like with everybody, and in particular kind of changes of routine, lots of uncertainty was challenging. Let's wind back then, and I think that one thing that many autistic people realize, and this is something that I was already realizing from working from home, was, oh, like suddenly I have this like comfort in work. I can just get on with the work. I haven't got all of these other things going on that can cause us to become very frazzled very easily in an office working environment. And this applies to other working environments as well. So I kind of talk about the office because that's my personal experience right now. And I've been reading other autism content. I read a blog on employment on the Employment Autism website, which I'll link below. And I really resonated with a lot of the things that were being said on there. So there was something very liberating about being out of the office and being able to just be able to work from home and not have that expectation to be around people all the time, be in those social environments. And so this is something that I think is incredibly common for neurodivergent people. I can only speak to autism because that's what I have. And so I just want to explain to you my scenario of being frazzled in the office and what happened and where this has happened for me in the past, and I hadn't even realized it was going on. So I've got a job now that is 1 day a week, and so I know, like, this, I'm talking 1 day in the office and it frazzled me. It was actually 2 days in the office because I did so this work is 2 days a week but 1 day in the office. I also was working on another project, which meant that I did kind of 2 days in an office back to back. And when I first went into the office, and I don't have a desk yet, I don't have any space for myself, I'm like, where do I sit? What do I do? It's like really kind of awkward and confusing, and like lots of things to try and think about. Like, is there a charging station here? The desk I ended up being on didn't have any charger, and I'm on my laptop, and am I meant to be on a desktop? And and the person who can organise that for me is away, and I was our kind of head of operations is not there either at the moment. She's on leave, so like, yeah, just nothing, no kind of clarity there. So I went in, and then there was that beautiful thing when other people are in the room, which of course is what happens in an office, and people talk. I mean, and also I talk. So it was kind of people coming in, and I was like, I guess I greet them. Like, the point of me being in the office is to get to know people and get to know what's going on. So I'll have a conversation. Oh no, have I had too much of a conversation? I'm talking too much, and there's other people in the office, and I would hate it if they were talking too much. Like, and then they get onto Zoom calls, and they're on Zoom calls in the office when other people are in the office trying to work. And I was like, oh yeah, this is what happens in the office, isn't it? And so, and like, I didn't have any big headphones with me or anything on that day, so kind of like sitting on my desk, and I'm sort of doing some things, but at the same time just so conscious and aware of like these conversations that are going on around me, and sort of, yeah, not really making any progress or not being able to focus. And I'm like, this is so different from being at my desk at home, sitting here, not having to worry if I'm talking too much, not getting distracted by other people talking too much. And then there was this whole thing in my head of like, why do we do offices? Like, what is the point in this? Because I'm sitting here, and it's like I can't really work because I've got all of this other stimuli going on, and how can I actually do the things that I need to do? It's almost like the office has to be a day where I don't intend to actually do any work. It's there to connect with the team, and that's the main reasoning behind being in the office. And so that was very much what was going on for me. But then there were some other things that happened that also, so it's definitely like that overstimuli and like this just being in weird kind of environments. A big thing for me, which has happened my entire life, and I know that a lot of women associate with this, which is temperature in offices. I am hypersensitive to temperature, and we're in the winter right now. I particularly am not good in the cold, and so I found myself at one point just shaking, like I'm shaking like this in the office, and I'm trying to do a call and I'm like shaking, and so it's this like level of discomfort where I'm like, and I should say this is me doing Zoom calls from an office, which I could do from here. And I'm saying all this, I also do understand why I'm going to be in the office that day, and I actually work in a very flexible and working environment, so I can kind of make changes. And once I adjust to it, I will be able to make some more changes. I think I don't actually have to just sit there all day for the sake of sitting there all day. So there's this discomfort that's going on, and then there's the kind of course, when you first start in an office as well, there's all this extra stuff about just not knowing, not having any clarity about how things work, and that was and is challenging. I'm kind of getting to the bottom of that now, trying to sort everything out. That definitely takes a lot. And then the other thing to do with being in an office, and I don't know if you feel this, but like, how much time does it take to prepare when you have to be in an office? I've been thinking a lot about, what do I need to take? What clothes am I wearing? I have to do my hair. Like, do I wash my hair? Do I not wash my hair? Do I do my makeup? And I know these are just normal things. Like, these are just everyday normal things. But it was like this pile on because I'm just so not used to it. And it really gave me that stark focus on like all those extra things that your brain has to do and how much energy that takes up. And particular when you're kind of overstimulated and you've got this kind of levels of discomfort that you wouldn't necessarily have in your own home, and then all the social aspects of it on top of that as well. So what happened after that was, and like I said, I did have 2 days back to back, and I came and my whole body, and this is where there's this sort of interplay, and I'm going to do another video on this at some point, but between my chronic illness and my autism, because my whole body just seized up. Like my back seized up, and I'm doing this in my spine, seized up, everything just seized up. And so, and then the fatigue, oh my god, the fatigue was just hit like a freight train. And thankfully I've got through it very quickly. It's something that's happened since diagnosis. Since I've been aware of why things are going on, I'm able to get through things a lot more quickly. So I'm kind of noticing it easier, quicker, and then I deal with it. I just got to go and do a call and then I will be back. I just wanted to, because I really wanted to get into the research and see what had been done on this, and there's very little. I mean, when they talk about workplace environments, it's more broadly the workplace environment, and the physical environment is just one part of that. So, and of course, all those other things absolutely matter, 100%. And we will talk more about this on this channel as well. But this impact we get just from being in the physical environment, where there is discomfort, where there's this social need, where there's a lot of preparation, there's a lot of mental load that is related to going and being in those offices, and this overstimuli. So so I did just want to pick up on one thing that I found in the data, which is actually like thinking about what are some of the solutions that can be used in an office. And this is from a paper called "How Can the Workplace Environment Be Redesigned to Enhance the Wellbeing of Individuals with Autism?" And it's by Michael T. Tomczyk. So it says, and I'll read this to you, proposed solutions include primarily the wide uses of electronic mediated forms of communication based on non-direct and non-verbal contact. So I think this is a really big thing. So when we're talking about wanting hybrid working, not always being in the office, it's like, how can we actually have different ways of communication that are going to support us? So this is relevant to whether we're virtual or whether we're in the office. So this idea of non-direct and non-verbal contact is something that's quite powerful. The idea of asynchronous communications. So this gives us time to think and time to actually express ourselves. Something I didn't mention before was how much I freeze when I'm in that office environment. So I suddenly find that I'm just not able to express myself in the way that I can when I'm sitting here on my own. I'm so out there because I have to be, that like I lose that connection with myself. So it's like all of this is protected by a wall and I'm just focused out there. So definitely non-direct, non-verbal contact. A flexible approach. So flexibility, this has been shown across the board to make working environments better. Like, so you don't have to like have some kind of label that makes you less than, which I hate anyway, which obviously it doesn't make us less than, but some kind of label in order to be to benefit from flexibility in a workplace organization, to benefit from asynchronous communication methods. It adds accurate stress monitoring systems. For me, that starts with self-awareness. Like, it has taken me getting a diagnosis to be able to understand how much like my stress goes up in certain environments, and therefore I shut down. Stress goes up, the wall comes down, you'll still get me, but you're not actually getting the real me. You're getting this version of me. I guess that's what masking is all about. And then and also an individual approach towards office space arrangements, which limits the external stimuli. So, and that can be things like headphones, could be like sitting in quiet places in the office. But again, it's all like individuals. So we all will have different preferences here. And I think that we will talk, like I said, some more about accommodations. And I'm going to give my personal experiences, not in this video, in a future video. Thank you for catching up with me. Make sure to let me know what your experiences are of working in an office. Do you think I'm just lucky to be able to have a job at all? Because like I said, so many people in our community struggle with even getting work, and that's something that we need to change. And yeah, if you've been in an office, what is your experiences? Do you recognize some of these things to do with overstimuli, to do with discomfort, to do with freezing up, to do with the social aspects of being in the office? And do you have the same kind of impact as I do, let me know, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.